welcome everybody to this meeting of the FMG committee. Pete, have we got any apologies?
Yeah, we've got apologies from councillors Hogben, Messent, Kay, Edwards and Mortimer.
So, has anybody got any declarations of interest relating to items on the agenda? No. No items, no declarations. We move on to the minutes. Has anybody got any questions regarding the minutes in terms of accuracy? No. Does anybody want to propose them? Dawn proposing, Kevin seconding. All those in favour? Item 4 is public participation. Can't see any members of the public. Have we had any questions?
No.
So we move on to item 5, which is the financial position for this year and any material variances. Pete, do you want to start us?
Yeah, no problem. The accounts are fairly strong. Have no indicators on there. Everything's spending to profile or under profile. We expect to end this financial year within budget.
Thank you. Has anybody got any questions regarding the year to date? No. From what I can see, it's all pretty much going to plan as job is spent. Right, do we need a vote? No, we just noting it. So there's no vote needed. So item 6 is to approve payment to the value of 26,649p and 90 pence.
Plus VAT, that's net.
That's beyond my capabilities as regards finance.
No, it's just in a total.
Yes, you're exactly right. We do defray VAT, but we get it all back. So we don't. We always use the net figure because in the end that's what the balance will be.
I stand correct.
No, you're not correct. You're not corrected. You are correct. There is a balance up, but it's not. We're not exposed to that.
Right. Is anybody willing to propose that we accept those? Which will be recommended to Councillor Dennis. Seconder. Kevin, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. So we're on to item 7, which is to review the following governance documents as part of the annual governance review process. So if we can go through them, I've noticed that the documents had track changes on them.
Yeah.
So we'll go with bring your own device.
Yeah.
Are there any massive changes to that, Pete?
No, so in all of them, apart from 7.5, they're all either very slight amendments or no amendments. So they've been reviewed. They're still performing the function they're supposed to perform. For example, bring your own device. I have not BlackBerry out of the list of devices. I don't think that's up to date anymore. I've amended a couple of aspects and added a tiny bit of context at the third line of the start of the policy, but it's all very limited, just finessing it and refining it a little bit. Same with 7.2, time just an amendment of point 1 there for the scope of the policy, just to broaden out the context of the situation. 7.3, no changes. 7.4, no changes. 7.6 and 7, no changes. So 7.5, I'm bringing your attention to that's the financial risk assessment. Now, as part of our internal audit, which is our business improvement aspect, as I like to call it, one of the recommendations was to do what's called a red, amber, green or RAG rating for the risk assessment. It would have gone from January meeting, which is a lot longer than I anticipated. And so I've gone through the financial and corporate risk assessment, and I've added the RAG rating to it, which is the document we see there. There are no additional risks. The risks were already up to date anyway, but the change in formatting just hopefully makes it clearer to where our greater and lesser risks sit. So that us to fulfil our internal audit recommendations.
No, good document.
John?
Yeah, one of the yellow boxes in the financial code risk assessment says that the clerk has training for some while. Is that will that be rectified in the near future? Or what does it mean?
Well, it means I put these things in, and so I'm opening myself up to risk here. There's continuous professional development is something we encourage within the staff team, and that's a good thing. And it's in the personnel committee, you'll see a report about training. Now, the area that we work in is quite niche, and we are one of the larger councils. So attending, and I have done in the past, not very, very recently by any stretch, attending training for clerks can be quite depressing again, frankly. And I don't engage well with it. So that's my failing. And so I haven't actively gone at it. And yeah, in the past, I've brought to personnel some options for training around governance. Whilst I think it's right to raise it as a risk in case I get blasé, I would point out that we're strong on our audits, we're financially robust, and as yet I haven't been taken to court. The continuous professional development I'll give to you is the sector we work in. I keep abreast of what's going on by reading all the journals, and also I write in some of the journals anyway. So we're in a relatively strong position, but I think I am the person who's not accessing training. And if you want to identify a piece of training, how to use the right bit of cutlery, the right meal, that sort of thing, I will do as directed.
And we have tried to find something that
Yeah. There's been
search.
Have you? I haven't. So no, I think it's open and accountable and right to write it in there. That's the appropriate thing to do. I haven't been able to identify any training that I'm chomping at the bit to go to, unless you feel like there's some kind of failings.
So do I read into that you keep up to date in other ways? So clearly, if there was a concern, that would be read.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
You don't just leave it. You keep abreast of changes and so on.
So there are legislative changes that function at our level. There was the recent changes to sexual harassment in the workplace, and so we instigated all the correct policies, if you recall, in October, to make sure we were compliant with all of that. There's going to be new employment laws. We'll stay ahead. So yes, I try and stay progressing continued professional development through proactively seeking out information and changes in the sector. But I don't go looking to sit with lower clerks.
I'm aware that a lot of clerks come to me first and they've got problems. It's pick up the phone and see what Pete's doing.
Well, it's a positive network, and I do talk to a lot.
Has anybody got any other questions?
Does this mean we're going to give them a payment? I'm against it if it is.
Oh, well, that'll be a part of the personnel committee, Dennis.
Oh, is it? Okay.
You go in it, so.
You said you had to leave her, so.
Right.
No, that is on no agenda. Just be clear for the camera.
Right, so I presume these policies will be recommended to council.
Yes, it's this committee's to recommend to council for a class.
So, is anybody willing to propose that we recommend these? Dennis to propose, Dawn second. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. Number 8 is to receive an update information report on civic functions. Dawn, do you say anything?
You know, it's quite a month February than previous December's, but still some nice. It was nice to go to like the launch of the Arts Trail and the Crew Creates Market Fest, because knowing that we'd had a big input into that and seeing that it worked because of that, so praise the officers as well for all the work that they do on it, as well as all the community groups and everybody that was taking part. So that was and the civic service, I really loved it. So, and everybody, the feedback I got from everybody was really so partly, everybody who went. It was packed out church, and it was nice to see them. That's yeah. Had a few envious mails from other places
who didn't quite get the
numbers picked yet. Yeah, so no, yeah, exactly.
Well
Crew does it again.
So we're happy to receive that, aren't we? So item 9 is to receive an update on update information report relating to the website and communications.
Yeah.
Pete, have you got anything to say on that?
Yeah, sorry, the report's been circulated. It's a monitoring report for the committee's oversight of it. We'll note that we're no longer on Twitter as directed. That's now enacted and we're not there. The statistics in general are always an upward trend. There are blips in months. Obviously, Christmas we get a lot more engagement with all the activities going on in the middle in January. Which is fair. And this is sorted then. And so the general trend is very much upwards, which is nice. Our engagement is generally positive. The tone is sustained and consistent. We try and put out as much as is humanly possible, quite frankly, to let people know. So there's nothing to action unless you see anything on to action, but this the process is consistent and positive, I feel.
Has anybody got any comments or questions?
No, I think it's good that you see something each day popping up from Crewe Town Council. There's always some update, something, promoting something. So I think, information going on. So so really good. That's all.
Yeah, I think we should thank the comms officer for all the hard work.
Yeah.
In getting things as publicised as best we can. So we're on to item 10, which is round the earmark reserves provisions 25 26. Pete, I note in the report you've made some suggestions.
Yes, we have over the last few years we've consolidated quite an extensive list of very small funds, and now we're trying to make them as functional as possible. The purpose of earmark reserves is for planned and programmed spend, not for just in case. That's what your general reserves are for. And so these should be known delivery or anticipated delivery, which I feel this represents. There are some slight changes to last year's, which were resolved anyway. There's quite a long list there of military changes and updates going to 21, I think, updates on it. These come with some requests or recommendations or resolutions from committees as well. You can see they're referenced in there. The earmark reserves allow us to respond to those opportunities. In the end, the financial year end figures, the final column does change slightly because some spend will happen between now and financial year end, but it's nominal realistically at that level. Was there to be used and progress the project work that's going on.
Anybody got any comments? Because really we're going to be asked to approve the new draft list that Pete's put forward in the report, which removes some of the earmark reserves that we currently have and amalgamates some of the others. Obviously we can't do anything with the John McBride Trust until we've decided what we actually want to do with it, which seems to be one of those recurring questions.
Yeah,
what do we want to do with it?
It did so generalist in the articles of that charity when it was just the purpose of that trust was set up for the benefit of Crewe. And so you could argue putting in bins is for the benefit of Crewe, you could argue an outlet at times isn't a benefit to crew. So it is very generous. But one day, I imagine something will come forward, and then there's
Bicentennial celebration.
that sort of thing. It could be part of that fund, for example. But because what the history of this is the trust in and of itself wasn't functioning appropriately, and it was causing a massive audit problem because money was held by us as a third party and acting in the trust way, and that caused audit concerns. And we spent 3 years trying to resolve all that, which came to the conclusion that that trust can sit as an earmarked reserve until it can fulfil its purposes. So it can sit there, without any audit concern and causing no issue for quite a long time. So, for example, bicentennial aspects or something else that can come the way. It's not predetermined, but it is going to be a long-standing earmarked reserve. So it's a little bit different.
Does it gain interest?
Well, all our funds are sat in the general reserve, and they're getting about £8,000 a month interest.
Yeah, is that all?
Mm.
Okay. £8,000 a month.
Yeah, we've managed over the last few years to create quite a resilient council, and so we have quite a decent reserve.
And
Which is
remember-
sat in the government deposit fund, and that generates interest.
But remember, interest rates have gone up because they used to be like 0.5%. They've gone up now, aren't they? So
I won't say I'm shocked because obviously I've been asleep through the other meetings, but well done.
John,
Yeah, just it's really just a sanity check, really.
Yeah.
When we look at the end of the earmark reserves, which was at December 24, and just say, for example, Christmas was at £37,017, and now it's 47. Do I assume then we put 10,000 because we didn't spend it, or it was sort of cancelled, or how does that increase?
That increases that earmark reserve is specifically for Christmas lights infrastructure. So in that's not just the wires and the bulbs. There are timers on walls and timers underground. There is electrical infrastructure and sockets to service some three-phase activity. So that's that. And so when something goes wrong, so for example, if we had to change all the catenary wires that hold it up across the roads, to span the roads, that would be in the tens of thousands to place all those. And inspection, so in each eyeball, it has a pull test on it every year, and that's drawn down from that fund. So we have in the revenue budget, we have a £10,000 allocation to go into this earmark reserve each year. So that's what creates that, and it just allows for it is a massive bill to come through.
So that's going in now, which then at the end of our financial year will be
that accounts for that £10,000 of this financial year end. Yeah.
right. Okay. And then, does that go for other things as well? Because
yes, there are.
There
are a few that do that as well. Yeah.
Hence why we've got over 500,000, and it was below.
Yeah, that's right. But we've also Public Services Committee, and so I have done it. 371 local service delivery. We don't know what may or may not come from various impacts of devolutions, whatever they may or may not be. Nobody knows. It's not been defined yet. So it's been recommended that, and if you as a committee don't like it, then you don't recommend it to council. But it's been recommended that there's an earmark reserve associated with local service delivery should there be an urgent opportunity to protect local services in Crewe at some point in the near future, and that provides that safety, if we like, to that level. So that's why it's up. It would actually be down as that. That's a new earmark reserve.
Right. I think it's important to get or to understand, because we're recommending it, and I'm not particularly understanding why that's altered, why some have gone missing, and why extra ones are in.
Yeah.
Well, I can understand the play equipment because the 100,000 that was in at the end of December, that's earmarked for
That
coloured
was spent.
ones.
That will be spent.
So then there'll be some more going in that for the next project.
That's right.
So I understand that. Just that with that going up from 427 or to 7 to 501 and some different headings.
Yeah.
That was
In the report, that is explained in point 18 XVII. There's an element of the community committee's resolution associated with new strategy and the strategic events as well as new considerations, and public services as will have an underspend that's gone into it as well. So those are the new elements. The rest are amendments all the way to 16 of what's already in place.
Anybody else? Any other question? No. Is anybody willing to say that we should recommend this to council? Dawn? Anybody willing to second? Evan? And I'm sure that there'll be questions at council as to what's going on as well. But all those in favour? Thank you. So, to note the progress to achieve the aims of the interim internal audit recommendations.
Yeah, we covered a little bit of this on the financial risk assessment. The rest dealt with. The financial risk assessment you've seen, which is number 1 on that list. There were 4 recommendations. In January, F&G committee had approved number 2, an annual review of effectiveness of systems and internal controls. Number 3, contingency arrangements for the RFO was considered at F&G in January as well. Number 4, which is where finding reports need to refer to the corporate strategy. That once that was offered to us, that was instructed to the team. It's now used routinely in reports. So they've all been implemented.
Right. So anybody got any questions or comments? So that's just a progress update to note. Can't see anybody with any questions or comments. So if we're happy to note that, we'll move on to item 12, which is to receive a report relating to allotments.
Yep. As the committee oversees our assets, includes the 11 allotment sites. The general situation is that of the 11 sites, they are all self-managed. There's 3 on the West End Allotment Federation, and there's 11 independently signed up on their own self-management leases. That is now completing. We have 1 that has just changed to a cooperative. The organisers, the association it was, is now doing a cooperative setup, which is fine, and they're coming in to re-sign that lease very soon. Hopefully, they've been in touch this week, so that's fine. With the only other thing is that Stoney Park, there is an allotment site there that is planned to be transferred to the town council, and there's work associated with that. There may be issues with the West End Federation in that 1 site might want to go it alone, which will create some administration and support needs there, just to be aware. So in the end, it can go the same way as the 8 independent ones can go anyway, and be self-managed with its own lease. And that's that.
Just Walker Street at 1.
Yeah.
On Derby Docks.
It's
not Walker Street. There isn't,
On down the bottom of West Street.
there isn't an allotment there on Derby Docks anymore, is there?
No, it's
been for years.
legal, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Walker Street is the one down.
It's off Broad Street, kind of. Over that way. Describe it.
It's cross Ford Lane. It's down halfway up Ford Lane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on
Allotments
the-
at the back,
Yeah.
Badger Avenue.
Yeah, with
Go
the
down
other
Ford
house.
Lane, come to the crossroads at Badger Avenue, go straight across, and it's opposite the field. You know, we had crazy car races on the left hand side.
Well, that's Ford Lane, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's Ford Lane one.
yeah, but I don't know what they call it.
No,
That's the only one round there.
My,
isn't it?
my understanding when we,
I can show you on the map where it is.
my understanding was when we had issues before,
That's Ford Lane, wasn't it?
there was Ford Lane, that there
The
was
two, the three of them.
and then there was
Hume
Hume Street,
Mm.
which is between Bentley and Hume Street, and then there was Walker Street. Well, Walker Street isn't the Ford Lane one.
No,
No.
Walker Street, the allotments were there, but then Derby Docks Lane area was created and the docks went, the allotment went.
Okay, there is one on Walker Street.
Yeah.
I'll show you on the map if you want.
Right, well, shall we establish where Walker Street is then?
But my understanding was it was on Derby Docks.
Near to Elder Medical Centre.
It is near, yeah.
Yeah. Because my father used to have an allotment there when we lived in Derby Street.
Yeah, your knowledge is
It
better
must
than mine.
exist, otherwise there wouldn't be.
I just know we had trouble with those three.
But Walker Street allotment has not been there for, must be 40 years.
But they've always called it Walker Street.
Yeah.
It's some logic
It's
there.
Walker Street's opposite Player.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah, I know that.
As you come down Derby Street, past the garages,
Go on.
take your first left, that's Walker Street, and across the road is Derby Street Flats. And then you've got that big open grass area. And right at the back, the top end there, going towards Woodland Level, the allotment street walk, the allotments were there. And that was when I was a lad. That's on
So it's been a long time then, Kevin.
Is that for toys? I'm going back to the 60s when the allotments. But I don't think it was there in the 80s, because it might be the 90s.
Talking a long time ago anyway.
Yes. Okay. There isn't, as far as I know,
Right, have we established where it is?
Yes, it's very clear it was. Just we're talking cross purposes.
So
There's a typo.
yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
Retail cat established in, I don't think, 200,
No.
20,113.
Yeah.
Well, imagine the meetings in them days.
Yeah.
I'll be a bit
I can only apologise for my tired old fingers, but right, all is important.
So we just cross one out?
But then we'll do
Right.
that.
Cross one out.
Cross one out, yeah.
So, Stony Park, will that involve us in legal things?
No, the intent there is, although the developers have gone relatively quiet, and I'm sure they'll suddenly turn up one day with the urgent, as these things tend to go. The intent there is they're going to transfer the freehold of the allotment site there, and then we'll engage locally to establish interest in the site, and then hopefully a site association. But the developer will provide additional resources there in terms of producing a better layout and paths for the site, and toilet block, and site shed or garage, or whatever it's going to be. So it'll be resourced then a couple of extra parking spaces. I think last time we agreed, and that's where we are. But at this time, there's not a huge amount of communication with the developer, to be honest.
But there will be legal fees for us accepting the transfer.
So yeah, we'll recharge those to the developer.
Right, that's fine. Thank you for that information. Right, so we're happy to receive the update relating to the allotments.
Yeah.
Now we've established where Walker Street is.
Which ain't there anymore.
But it is.
Excuse me.
Right.
The street's still there.
I knew where it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so item 13. To consider the draft business plan delivery as it relates to this committee.
Yep, it's of all the committee business delivery plans, it's the one with the least amount of flexibility and adjustment in it. We have a business delivery plan, the corporate one, for the whole council, which council approves. The purpose of it is to identify how the budget is going to be spent against which projects, services and revenue costs. Finance and governance, to the greater extent, is effectively the oversight of the running and governance of the council, and all those administrative and running costs are in that business delivery plan. And they have a run to January, which is exactly the same since then. I haven't amended it at all on the basis of anticipated delivery of that budget. So it will be added to the corporate business delivery plan for recommendation to council.
Has anybody got any comments? Anybody want any changes to the delivery plan?
Just clarifying that the payroll costs have got the associated pay awards and everything reflected in it.
Well, they've got
As-
an estimated pay awards, I think, because the union request has been made at the start of February, and the government response hasn't been received yet. As is often the case, we don't find out the end of these discussions till October, back end of sometime. So it's got an estimation of that figure in there with the budget setting process.
And the NI, the associated
And the
increases.
NI,
Yeah.
Anybody else any questions? So take it that we've considered the business plan. If no one's got any more questions. It is very much, it's not a fun thing, is it? There's no events, it's just, it's just where it is.
Insurance and things like that, utilities never really look sidebar.
So we consider that the item 14 is to note the meeting schedule for the 25-26 civic year. And you have got a copy in your agenda pack.
I print out a lot of large ones for everyone. The meetings will be available at council.
Thank you. Helps to pin it on the wall so we don't get. At least I know.
Next to the other one.
I haven't got the other one printed out. They don't do that, do they? Anybody got any comments? Anybody dying to change the date of a meeting? No. Thank you very much. So we'll take that we have noted the schedule. So we're on to item 15, which I will read out. It is recommended that committee considers a resolution as section 1 of the Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act 1960 to exclude the public and representatives of the press from the meeting during the consideration item 16 on the grounds that matters contain sensitive information and by reason of the confidential nature of the business being transacted. I'm happy to propose that. Is anybody willing to second? Dennis, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you.